So there are reports out today that Douglas Luiz is set to be recalled by Juventus this January. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up, we'll talk to you about the latest reports of Douglas Luiz heading back to Juventus. We'll also cover off a striker that's being linked, no secret on this one. And should we be giving Sean Dyche any money this transfer window? So make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed if you're new, and let's jump into it. Oh, and by the way, follow us on Instagram. We're like coming up to 5K on there, so shout out to all of you following. The link's in the comments as well. Okay, let's start with this Douglas Luiz story. So this is coming out from Ikram, and he's saying Juve is set to recall Douglas Luiz from his loan at Forest. The Brazilian midfielder has struggled with injuries and regular playing time. The Premier League purchase clause is unlikely to be triggered, and Juventus are aiming to secure around 25 million for his transfer. So let's unpack this one. Firstly, let's talk about the source. Ikram, for me, is not a very good source at all. He gets loads of things wrong. So I take this with a pinch of salt. However, there are noises out of Italy as well saying similar things. So there could be some strength behind this. And with the lack of game time that we've seen on Douglas Luiz and reports that we told you about 2 months ago where Forest were and ahhing about him and Forest were looking to target a potential midfield replacement in this January window to replace Douglas Luiz, kind of says maybe there is some truth in it. But is it the right call to do? Now, you can look at it from both ways. And to be honest, I'm quite split about this one. Forest, for me, are lacking Premier League proven players. Douglas Luiz is a Premier League proven player. We've seen what he can do at Villa. We've also seen in glimpses what he can do at Forest when he's fit. What he hasn't had at Forest is a run of games where he can string 3, 4, 5 matches together and really kind of get used to kind of the team, the players, the chemistry and everything else. And we've also seen this stupid 45-minute clause that means every time he plays at the first half, he gets subbed off at half time and then occasionally is used as a sub. But the biggest gripe for me with Douglas Luiz is I don't think we're using him in his correct position. Every time he seems to come on, he's playing as the 6 or the real deep line playmaker who's picking the balls up from the centre back. Whereas when we signed him in the summer, I said to you guys, I think he's an 8. Yes, he can play the 6, but we're not getting the best out of him. He could be that person playing in the 8 that breaks into the box, late runs into the box crashing midfielder, whatever you want to call it, and starts to score some goals. We saw that, okay, I know he used his arm against Wrexham, but that's the positions he naturally likes to get into, especially at his time against Villa. And if you speak to any Villa fans and you ask them the simple question, is he a 6 or an 8? Pretty much down to a man, they all say an 8. So I don't see the benefit of releasing him yet in January. And I'd rather he stayed here as that 45-minute man because he's not going to trigger that clause in the contract. Even if you just save him and say Forest don't want to sign him and you just use him for 30 minutes in the second half, he can produce something. Now, if Forest are going to come back in with a better replacement, then fine, I'm open to listening to that. But as things stand, our squad's already crap as it is. We're going to take one of the players who actually has Premier League quality and release him back to Juve. To me, that doesn't make too much sense. So I don't know. I would say I would keep him, but I would like to know what you guys think about it. So let me know down in the comments below. And honestly, even if we bought him and he flopped and he carried on being injured and what have you, 25 mil is nothing. That's what he played for McAtee. And we've all seen how slow McAtee started this season. So get your thoughts in on Douglas Luiz. Now, let's talk about this one because I haven't actually covered it off with you guys on here. And that is, of course, Strand Larsen from Wolves to Forest. Now, this is Rob's boy. Rob got very excited by him. He was sending us screenshots on WhatsApp saying, look how many goals he scored in the FA Cup. And then he was like editing out the actual team he scored them against. And he's like, this is the guy. Let's get him in. I again am torn on this one. If you asked me in the summer, would I take Strand Larsen for 40 million? I'd be like, yeah, he banged in like 14 goals last season. He's got a good presence in the box, quite tall, quite strong, decent finish. But right now, he's so out of form that he can't even get into the Wolves team. Now, if we were in a position where we were last season, if this was January of last season and Strand Larsen's in the form that he's in now, and we had a fit Chris Wood who was firing goals and everything, you can risk bringing him in to play second fiddle to Chris Wood, get his form back, and then fast forward to the start of this season, he kind of maybe plays himself back into form and is ready and fit and firing again. I think he's a decent player and he scored goals in the Premier League. That's an important, plus pro sign for him to tick in his box. But his form has been horrific. And remember, we're talking about a Wolves team when he was in the team that was just crap. And a lot of people say, okay, put him in a better team. And how does he perform? And I'm like, okay, put him in the Forest team. And how many chances are we going to create him? Because we don't create many chances at all. We're the second lowest goal scorers after Wolves in the league. And the chances creation, I mean, we've seen them all. Crosses, long ball, long ball, long ball. Now, that may actually suit his game because he's decent in the air. Maybe he can kind of make those late breaking runs, that movement in the box that creates the chance that he can score from that Igor Jesus maybe isn't as good at. But I don't think we're in a position where we can spend 40 million is Wolves' asking price on someone who is out of form. Now, Wolves have said they would lower their price, but there are a lot of teams looking at him and there's a lot of Premier League teams that are interested. I think it would be more around the £30 million mark. Is it worth it at that level? I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. My thoughts right now is don't buy any players this transfer window. I don't think Dyche makes it past the summer. And honestly, I don't want to see Dyche players coming in. I don't want to see a McNeil coming in. I don't want to see a Larsen coming in. Just give him a couple of loans if we've still got some for the quota. Fix up the box and then plan properly again in the summer. This club needs a full strip down. We need to get rid of so much deadwood. We need to sort out what's going on in the back rooms. We need to sort out what's going on upstairs with Marinakis, with Edu, with everything else. To then start splashing out 30 or 40 million pounds on a striker for a manager that may not be here in the summer, I don't think makes too much sense. But I don't know. I guess we need something. We need something. And my Dyche agenda still, if I try and put it to one side, do we need a goal scorer? Yes. Is he the one? I don't know. But what I will say is don't expect glamorous names this transfer window. Don't expect some, wonder football manager style kid being linked with Forest and what have you. It's going to be Dross linked. Like, factually speaking, Strand Larsen is Dross right now for Wolves. Factually speaking, Dwight McNeil is Dross right now for Everton, barely gets into their team. Is this really the kind of transfer window we want to have? And that's why I'm kind of tempted just to keep Douglas Luiz and see how it goes. Now, is he better than Taiwo? Yes is the answer to that. And I know, again, Rob uses that argument. Well, if he's better than Taiwo, then he can come in and already we've made an improvement to the squad. Kind of makes sense. But for the money they're asking for him, it just feels like a little bit too much. However, Newcastle wanted him in the summer. Wolves were asking for about 60 million. Newcastle didn't want to go that high. And now basically it's a half price sale. So if Sean Dyche could get a tune out of him, which I'm not confident he could, maybe it could be a bargain. But what do you guys think about Strand Larsen? Would you take him for 30 to 40 million pounds? Let me know in the comments down below. So there's loads more transfer news, but I'll bring it to you as it gets sourced and everything else. So get your thoughts in on this video. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Please make sure you've hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.